Welcome. So in this session we will talk about a very important topic and a very contemporary topic, today's earthquake that was witnessed in the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Now based on this there can be a question for your UPSC mains. Now let's first understand what kind of question can come, and based on this we would understand how to draft your answer for the same. So in this case there can be a question which talks about the geotectonic mechanism which causes earthquakes and leads to tsunami, specifically in the subduction zones. Now we would understand this in a while when we'll understand the geological aspect of it in light of the recent Kamchatka Peninsula. Now also the question asks about the impacts and the strategies to mitigate the issue in the tsunami prone area. Now let's first understand this map as you can see here. So this region as you can see is the region of Pacific Ring of Fire. Now Pacific Ring of Fire is known for nearly 80% of the volcanic activities that are caused, and these volcanic activities are indeed one of the precursors for the earthquake events. Recently, around 10 to 15 days back, there was a severe earthquake vibrations which were seen in the regions of Kamchatka, and today as of now there was a earthquake on the Richter scale as 8.7 magnitude. Now this was in the epicenter, which was very close to the region of Kamchatka Peninsula, and has affected not only the regions of Russian Peninsula but has led to tsunami warnings even in the regions of Japan, even as far as the regions of Hawaii and Alaska in the regions of Pacific, the North Pacific. Now if we look onto the geological structure of this, Russian plate is one of the plates, and then there is the North American plate. So this Pacific plate is actually moving northwest we could say, and this northwest or the west-northwest movement of the Pacific plate, the North American plate towards the Pacific plate, is constantly at a rate of nearly 77 millimeters per year. Now this movement is one of the major movements which has led to consistent faultings in the regions of the subduction zone, which is specifically the regions of Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, which can be witnessed here. Now if we look onto the recent earthquake that has affected the region, it's a good news that not a lot of casualties have been seen, but the magnitude was very strong. This peninsula is known for its volcanic sites, which are also listed in the UNESCO World Heritage. So the volcanoes of Kamchatka are listed in the UNESCO World Heritage site. The population is roughly from 3 lakh to 3.5 lakh people, and in the recent years, as per the recent news, we have seen a declining trend in the population. This zone is also known for its tourism activities, specifically heli skiing, dog sledging and snowboarding activities, which are very popular in these areas. Now this again, as a part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, is prone to earthquake activities and volcanic activities. However, the recent event was a major event and has led to tsunami waves of up to 4 meters high in the region, and in the regions of Japan and Tokyo it has been witnessed that the tsunami waves have reached 1 feet already. There were predictions of around 3 meters of tsunami waves in this region. Now if you look onto this region, this is the region where you have the Sea of Ostok, which is being affecting the Kamchatka Peninsula, and the Petropolnos Kamchatka, which was very close to the epicenter that was seen. Now this geotectonic mechanism in itself has been very responsible for the earthquake conditions which have been witnessed. Now 3 important mechanisms are really important when we talk about specifically the tsunami generation. Now this is first of all the generation of the tsunami. Now this generation can be either due to uplift or due to subsidence, which creates a water column displacement, and this displacement leads to waves which would be having longer wavelength, and ultimately the next step would be the propagation of these waves. Now these waves would travel up to 800 kilometers per hour, and once they propagate, they would reach the coastal areas with the amplified views. Now why amplified? Because in the coastal areas the water reduces, right? So you have shallow water. Now because of the shallow water, the height of the wave increases, and this is due to the shoaling effect. Now we have talked about more on shoaling in our lectures on geomorphology, so you can refer that. But as the water gets shallow, the wave heights increase, and as a result the wave speed would decrease, but it would have a exacerbated impact onto the coastal area, affecting significantly the coastal areas. And in light of this, the Fukushima nuclear reactor has been closed with an immediate vision that there could be no nuclear spill out that could be considered in future. Now again, the next part of the question talks about the impacts and the mitigation strategies. So let's first talk about impacts. Now impact, of course, whenever there is a volcanic activity, earthquake activity, or tsunami, any kind of natural disaster activity that we witness, it has a series of impact. In this case, the first impact is definitely the seismic impact, which has already been seen in the regions of Kamchatka Peninsula. So you have witnessed damages to the airport site, damages to the kindergarten sites. So far there have been several people who have been injured. The hospital nearby have been injured. The second important impact that we have seen in this case is the tsunami warning in this region. Now there has been already waves reaching 3 to 4 meters high. The coastal people have been advised to evacuate, not only in this area, even in the regions of Alaska, even in the regions of Hawaii, the Honolulu Island. There have been significant messages and sirens so that people can move on an uphill area. In the regions of Japan, there has been a significant warning that has been issued in all the 4 island groups of Japan. Also, the economic losses and damage specifically to the fisheries, to the ports, have been very vital, and its long-term implications would be coming in next few days. But besides the seismic impact, the tsunami impact, there is another more broader view which we can understand, that is in terms of the vulnerabilities, specifically in the areas which have been remote, sparsely populated, uneasily being reached out, distant areas, and the transboundary risk, as we have seen, have been a major factor in this earthquake that has been witnessed. Now coming on to the next major system is mitigation of the tsunami waves that have been witnessed in this region of Sea of Vostok as well as the regions of Japan. So one very important thing is to understand how the preparedness is. So whenever there is a disaster response and disaster mitigation becomes important. Even in India, we have been talking about NDMA, the National Disaster Management Act, and the guidelines for the same. The same works globally. So the first very important step is how much the community is prepared to handle, whether there have been regular drills, people have been well educated, evacuation routes have been well defined, how the local knowledge could be integrated with the common people, the tribal people, and the native people in the region, so that they can protect themselves best. Then there has to be an international hand forward, so international cooperation from UNESCO, from foreign aid, in form of foreign aid, research and monitoring. Now research and monitoring would not only work from the regions of Russia, but there have been constant surveillance from the centers, the seismic centers at Japan, then USGS from United States, and so on. Now again, enforcing the building codes for ensuring seismic resistance building have been very important, specifically in the buildings which are lying in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now coastal zoning to restrict the development in the low-lying areas have been one of the major steps that have already been witnessed post 2011. the Tokyo, the Fukushima disaster that was witnessed, right? The next important one is the mitigation systems, and under the mitigation system, DART is one major mitigation system, and that is deploy deep ocean buoys, and this actually would help in real-time detection of the intensity and the impact that could be seen in the nearby area. So Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has been working forward. Similarly, Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System can also serve as a model for the Pacific nations, and these are some of the ways under which mitigation can be actually checked out. So this was a brief overview, a highly expected question for your upcoming examination. Of course, when you are preparing for your examinations, there are various things that you must be very careful about and vigilant about. So here you have a complete comprehensive update on each of the topics and details regarding that. In case you have any questions or queries, feel free to reach us on the number below. Thanks for joining in. Have a great day.